Hey YouTube, JD, coming at you with my Western and Eastern Conference Finals predictions. I'll start with the East. I watched the game yesterday. Raptors put up, a hell of a game. If they play like that consistently, they have a chance. But I know they're not consistent enough. They played a heck of a game to knock off the Heat, and they play great. Kyle Lowry can shoot like if Kyle Lowry, DeRozan, and Ross, and they get some production on the big men, they can make it interesting. But I think Cleveland is going to run away with this. They might be able to get a game or two to Raptors. They might win a game um, or two. It just depends. If they're hot and they catch Cleveland on a slow night, Cleveland's been the best 3-point shooting team in the playoffs so far. And that says a lot because usually it's Golden State, but Golden State hasn't had Steph Curry, so you got to factor that in. But Cleveland hasn't really been tested. Raptors are going to give them a little bit more of a test. They're more of a complete team, and they have better talent than the Hawks. So they're definitely going to give them a better run. Cleveland's had the easiest run to the Eastern Conference Finals like any team's ever had. No injuries. You play Boston Celtics, who don't have a superstar in the first round. I think it's Boston Celtics. No, I'm sorry, Pistons. It was Pistons. You put Pistons, which they're not very good either. They're just too young. Pistons, who don't really have a superstar. They have some bigs that are good, but other than that, they just play hard and they're well coached. That's the upside to the Pistons, but they're not very talented. And then they have the Hawks, who I think the Hawks are actually talented, or actually well coached, and they're a good team. They're just not talented enough. And they gave them all they can handle, but they're just not good enough talent wise. So that's a pretty easy path. And then you have the Raptors, which I think Raptors are coming on strong. Talent wise, they're good enough to compete and win. They're just not consistent enough to win. That's the thing about them. Like the only reason they lost to the Heat in any games is because they couldn't hit shots. They weren't consistent. And when they're not hitting shots, they don't defend enough to make up for that. That's what makes Golden State so good. Golden State and even the Thunder, I'll get to them in a minute. Golden State and the Thunder, they defend well enough that they can turn an easy turnover into a fast break dunk. Now, they do force some turnovers, but it's not as persistent, and their defense isn't as suffocating as other teams can be. At least other teams in the past. Maybe not so much this playoffs. A lot of the teams aren't that persistent at defense, that are not that intense on defense. If they're able to do that, they might have to give themselves a chance. Because they do have talent. They're going to get points. They're going to put up points because Cleveland's not a good defensive team. So they do have talent. I just don't think they're consistent enough. So they're a good team. They got good players. I think they're one good. If they had Bosch back, like if Bosch will stay there rather than leaving, they'd be fine right now. Because they'd easily be one of the best teams. It'd be definitely 1 and 2. I think it's skewed this year because you didn't have Bosch on the Miami Heat. So it's definitely skewed. And all the team with like the most good players is on one team. So the Cleveland's got no competition. They stacked it up with LeBron, Irving, and then Kevin Love, and then they got great role players. Name one other team in the East that has 3 superstars. There isn't one. There's 2. There's one team that has 2 superstars. You have one team that has Wade and Bosch. And Bosch is injured. Don't tell me that Goran Dragic is a superstar. He's not. And don't tell me Joe Johnson is a superstar. At one time he was. Now he's just a shooter. And well, dang, that team has a good collection, but they're not superstars. Maybe you can say the Chicago, but D Rose is not what he used to be. Jimmy Butler is not quite a superstar. He's getting there. And okay, I can say just go through the East. No one on the East has more than one superstar, other than Cleveland. So really, the East is a wash. And if anyone expected anything different, I was hoping for something different. But Raptors could give them a chance. Could give them a run if they have. They gotta make their shots. and they have to be able to at least play good defense. I think it's going to be about 5 games. Maybe be able to force 6. If they got to 7, I'd be tickled pink because I don't like Cleveland. I don't like LeBron. So, I do think the city of Cleveland does deserve a championship at some point. So I got Cleveland in 5, maybe 6. So 5 is giving them 1 because Cleveland is just the better team all around. I'm just telling you, there's no other team in the Eastern Conference that has more than 1 superstar. In fact, I can make the argument that there's about a dozen teams that don't have a superstar. Every team should have at least 1 go-to guy. Hornets, no go-to guy. New York has 1. I can go through the entire East. Brooklyn, 0. The 76ers, 0. So definitely stack the deck. Let's just put it that way. And if anyone wants to argue that with me, that's fine, but it's true. The deck is stacked in the East for LeBron to just walk right through it. That's all there is to it. There's no competition. If he was in the West, it'd be completely different. There are plenty of teams in the West that you can't even survive in the West without 2 superstars. So, and let's go to the West. Well, let me rephrase that. You can survive with a superstar in the West. You just have to have a great team around. So, Golden State and the Thunder. I need to give Thunder a little bit of credit. I'm not going to apologize because what I said, I stand to. I stand to because I hold my ground on that. And the reason why is simple. Because I said that they will not win until Russell Westbrook decides to start being a point guard and stop shooting the ball more than the best scorer, not shooter, scorer in the NBA. And what did he do? After game 1, he turned that on and did it perfectly. Okay? That's what he did. He turned it on and did it perfectly. He became the distributor. He did not shoot more than Kevin Durant. When he shoots more than Kevin Durant, they are more likely to lose. Kevin Durant is the most efficient superstar the NBA has probably ever seen when it comes to shooting percentage, scoring, so on and so forth. And whenever he decides, I'm going to attack the hoop and be a distributor, the Spurs couldn't do anything about it. There's nothing they could do about it. And then the fact that he started hitting threes, which, if I was coaching, I'd say don't shoot threes. Attack the hoop. Attack. They're eventually going to lapse on defense, and you're going to get a dunk, or someone else is going to get a wide open dunk or a layup or a 3-pointer. That's what I'd say. But he is kind of the spearhead of that defense. He does get after it defensively. So you got to give him credit on that. And he became a distributor. He stopped shooting the ball every time he had a chance to. That's what he needs to do. He is a great player. And if he was on a team by himself, yeah, you got to do a lot of things. You could probably average triple-double, no problem. But when you're on a team with Kevin Durant, he needs to be getting 30 shots a game. Not you. You don't give him 20 and you take 30. That's stupid. Because he's going to shoot 60% and you're going to shoot 40%. And if you give those 10 shots to him, you're going to have a lot more points in the long run. Your player efficiency is going to be higher because you took less shots, you took better shots, and you're probably going to be assisting him on a couple of those. Okay? Now, Golden State, hopefully, if Steph Curry's in good shape, I'm talking like conditioning, I think it's going to be a good series. I got Golden State winning in 6. It's going to be tough. Golden State, for some reason, knows how to play the Thunder, but Thunder don't look like they did in the regular season. That's the thing. The Thunder do not look anything like what they looked in the regular season. They're closing in the fourth quarter. They have defensive intensity. Westbrook sharing the ball. They're more efficient offensively. They're not what they looked like in the regular season. And that's a good thing. Because, good and bad. Well, bad for their opponent, let me phrase that. It's a good thing because, yeah, it's great. Because their opponent, you can always just rely. They led the league in most fourth quarter giveaways. I think it was them and Sacramento 1 and 2. I don't remember which order. In most blown fourth quarter leads. I think it was like 14 or 15, which is very bad. That's either, in my opinion, that's coaching, which I think Billy Donovan has just kind of grown up. When you lose leads in the fourth quarter, usually that's coaching. You don't get your team into an offense, you ISO too much, so on and so forth. And you don't have good defensive intensity. Good defensive intensity will get you a couple steals for dunks and steals for layups a quarter at least. Just about 2 or 3 a quarter. I used to coach basketball. I used to say any turnover equals 1 point when you're on offense. If you're the defense forcing that turnover, you better make it worth 2. That's what I always said. That's just my coaching philosophy, but everyone can have their own opinion. But I think this series will go to 6. Westbrook will give Steph Curry a lot of problems. Now the problem here is you're not going to have the same issue you had last series. And I don't mean to say this as an insult, but the Spurs looked old. And I mean, yeah, okay, it kind of is an insult, but the Spurs just looked old. Tony Parker is their point guard, and whenever he's slowing down, and when he slows down, they don't have all that penetration, kick, pass, attack, skip, pass, attack, skip, dunk, attack, skip, 3-pointer, yada yada yada. They don't have all that stuff. Whenever Tony Parker is old, because he can't get in the lane and break things down. That's where their offense spark plugs. So, and the same with like when they sub. That's what Popovich said in the last game. Everything went to crap when we subbed because Manu Ginobili does that, and he's not young enough. He's too old. The offense, when you get into playoffs, your offense has to be more relied upon your superstars. It's basically the best way to put it. And the Thunder, their superstars are in such good shape, they leave their superstars in just a little bit longer. They play a couple minutes with those subs, and they just overwhelm them. And yeah, that's pretty much the best way to put that. And the Golden State's not old. They're gonna have fresh legs. They're not gonna look old whatsoever. I predict Klay Thompson will be guarding Westbrook. Steph Curry can guard him, but they're going to go small, and they're going to protect the hoop, and you're going to have Steven Adams and all the bigs in there, and they're not going to be able to defend them. If they go small, I don't know who they're putting in. They put Draymond Green as their center. Then you have Harrison Barnes, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Iguodala. That's too fast, and they're smart enough, and they play smart enough to box out those guys. And then they get out on the run, and the big men can't keep up. It's just, here's what I've always said about the team that usually wins in the finals. In the playoffs, let me rephrase that. Which team can impose their will the best? Now, what that means is, which team puts their strategy on the floor, and the other team has to change their strategy and has to change their manpower to match it. Which team does that? I'll give a couple examples. A few years ago, whenever the Heat had the big three, not against Dallas, I'm talking about next year against the Thunder, their benchmark, the Thunder's benchmark, was having Perkins, Ibaka, having that big front line that can play defense, and then having Durant, Westbrook, and then James Harden, sorry. Or they play Thabo Sefolosha, and Thabo Sefolosha is a good defender. Well, whenever the Heat goes small, when they put Bosh at the 4, and they have LeBron at the 3, Bosh at the 5, LeBron at the 4, Wade at the 3, Ray Allen at the 2, and I think they had that was when they had Mario Chalmers. Mario Chalmers ran point. Whenever they decided to do that, they went small. Or instead of having Ray Allen, or instead of Mario Chalmers, they put Mike Miller in and let LeBron James run point. LeBron James or D Wade. So they'd have shooters around him and just let those do pick and rolls until they get to the hoop, or let LeBron post up. That strategy forced the Thunder to take out their second big and put in Sefolosha, and then they have Harden, Sefolosha, Durant, and Westbrook. You know, not a horrible lineup there, but they want, that's not what they want. They want to play with the bigs and then have your scorer and your aggressive rim attacker, and then have it pass off to Ibaka for a jump shot, and then he has to go over there. So this, he can't leave, his man can't leave him because he can shoot, and you have the dunk. It's which one can impose their will the most, because you're playing a strategy that you want. For example, if right now, if it was playing the Spurs versus the Golden State Warriors, the Spurs versus Golden State Warriors, what's going to happen? What would have happened is, yeah, they're going to start with their starters, Timmy and then Marcus Aldridge. They're going to start with their starters, and then eventually Golden State's going to get their smaller lineup in, and they're going to take out Tim Duncan, or they're going to take out one of them, or Marcus Aldridge, and they're going to play smaller, and that's advantage Golden State, because that's what they want, not what Spurs want. But Spurs have to counter that, or else they're going to have lapses on defense, because Golden State has smaller guys that play up tempo, that know how to defend bigger guys, and not everyone has that. Not everyone has that mentality and has that ability. Golden State has that ability. It doesn't matter how big you are. They can take you very easily. They can take you and defend you. And yeah, you may get some offensive rebounds here and there, but for the most part, they defend you pretty well with a smaller lineup. And then offensively, you can't handle them. You can't guard Steph Curry. And you can't not pay attention to Klay Thompson. Draymond Green is becoming one of the best all-around players, passing, shooting, scoring, whatever. And definitely a great defender, one of the best two-way players in the league. And then you have Iguodala off the bench. You have Andrew Bogut is a good defender, and he plays his role very well. And this team is just built. So Harrison Barnes is another one. And when they have Harrison Barnes and Draymond Green, they both can defend bigs. Andre Iguodala is thick enough that if you try to post him up, he will just plan his ground, and you will not back him down. So that's my prediction. I have like I said, I had Golden State winning in about 6 games. Everyone's saying 7. I don't know why they think it's going to do 7. You have, unless someone on the Thunder bench really step up like that, is that Roberts guy or Robinson, steps up and gets a lot of points again, I don't see that happening. But we shall see. I think you're looking at 2 different teams. One has a very good team philosophy. One has a good superstar philosophy. So we'll see which one overpowers which. But if you like my video, share, like, subscribe. See you next time.